Thought transmission. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I was to tell myself that my SP is obsessed with me, they're madly in love with me, right? That doesn't mean that when I say that, they're going to be watching TV and out of nowhere, they're just like, whoa, all of a sudden, I love Neo. Oh, that's weird. I thought I was just watching Golden Girls. No. This is the way it usually works. It could happen that way, but everything in manifestation will happen naturally. That's why sometimes you'll notice that things don't necessarily manifest overnight, because a lot of that shit, if we're being honest, is not realistic. It's not normal. Everything has to feel normal. Everything has to feel natural, because otherwise people would be manifesting dragons coming out of the sky and stuff, right? So this is the way it works. I say that my SP is in love with me. They're obsessed with me. So they're watching Golden Girls. They have the remote, right? Well, actually now it's the Roku, or maybe they're just on their Netflix. She's watching Netflix, Golden Girls, and she has a couple of thoughts in her head. It's, wow, I hope I'm not like that when I'm old. This is actually 10 times better than Grey's Anatomy. And then she thinks of a teddy bear, right? Now let's say the teddy bear has, for whatever reason, some sort of connection to you. Maybe you've never even given her a teddy bear in the past or whatever. Maybe you don't even like teddy bears. But for some odd reason, if she selects that thought about the teddy bear and she entertains it, it is a seed that plants in her life that eventually leads her to you. She thinks about the teddy bear, and then what happens is she goes to the Walgreens the next day, she sees it, and then the teddy bear has a bow, and then the bow reminds her of your favorite color, and then all of a sudden she starts thinking about you, and then blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, you guys 70 years down the road are on the rocking chair, and you guys are watching your children play with an iPhone 70, right? That's how thought transmission works, okay? So let's say if I am doing my robotic affirmations, and I say that my SP is in love with me, that she has a life-size poster of me on her wall that she prays and bows down to every single night. But then, let's say I wait a couple of days, I'm feeling good, something happens at work, and then I'm like, you know what? Shit, my life is crap. I feel like an idiot. I'm going to check her WhatsApp status. And then I see that she posts something that triggers me. She would have chosen the thought about the teddy bear because I did that thought transmission. But then if the next thought that she was supposed to choose was about the New York Yankees, but because I checked the 3D, she's going to go back to choosing the thoughts of the Golden Girls. Okay? And therefore, she will go back to the thoughts, which thoughts are just door portals to different realities. She will go back to the reality where we will never get together. And that is how thought transmissions work, okay? So this is why it is so important to persist. And persist doesn't mean have faith and that you have to feel a feeling. What it means is that you simply declare, okay? You know, like whenever people would talk about when we were becoming Christian that all you got to do is believe and confess Jesus as Savior with your mouth. I like that because it's a perfect example of what truly deciding your end is. It's not about what you feel in your stomach. It's not what you feel in your head. It is simply declaring it with your mouth. If you confess Jesus Christ as your Savior with your mouth, you will be saved. And if you confess that no matter that my SP has me blocked on all platforms, she is in love with me, she blows up my phone with, all these I love you text messages throughout the day, and she's always talking about marriage. As a matter of fact, we are already married right now. If you declare that, and even if you say it through blood, sweat, and tears, and it doesn't even feel truthful, it feels like BS, it doesn't matter, because again, this is why I emphasize you are not the mind, you're not the body. Where is it that you feel that it's BS? You feel it up here. You say it and you're like, I don't believe that. I don't feel like that makes sense. You feel it in your body, but guess what? If you're feeling it from your body, that's not good enough. That's not good enough evidence. Like I said, the judge technique. Okay, if the judge sees that it's coming from the body, okay, boom, yeah, that's not enough evidence. We need more. Unless it's happening in your 4D, I don't want to hear it. Because the 4D is the one that you have control over on your throne, but you don't have control over what's in the 3D because it is an old reflection, an old projection of what you already decided in your 4D reality. All you have to do is stay in the awareness. Now, yes, this is where imaginal acts can come in. You can do sats, whatever, right? But you got to remember one thing, even with my self-pedestalizations, you ultimately want to get to the point where you are just okay with living your life, playing bingo, going to the gym, focusing on your business, or focusing on getting your money up. And only whenever the thought of your SP comes, only when the thought of that career that you desire comes, is when you decide to say, no, actually, I'm a billionaire. CEOs are obsessed with me. They're intimidated by me. Wall Street has life-size posters of me in their hallways, right? And then, boom, you go about your day. Not worrying about, that technique really didn't make me feel any emotion. You will eventually feel the emotion, especially if you keep saying stuff like that. It's the same way of like when Robbie Van Zant, the lead singer Leonard Skinner, may he rest in peace, he kept telling people that he never saw that he was going to live to age 30. And guess what? He died in a plane crash at age 29. People would even say, where the hell did he get that from? He would just say it. He just would keep saying it. And it eventually came true. Right? Did it happen overnight? No. But it eventually happened. Okay? And that's the same way that it works with your subconscious. Whatever you keep telling yourself, whether it's a feeling whether you feel that it's real or not, it will have to happen. So simply declare your end. And that is it. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, well, this was supposed to be about thought transmission. Guys, thought transmission is anything that you'd think about yourself, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. If whenever you are in traffic and you think that your life sucks because you can never get green lights, then you're going to see that reflected. Just like I said, that they will choose the thought that leads them to you. They will choose the thought in the multiple choice. They will choose the thought whenever they are interacting with you that leads to them being turned off by you. Okay? If you were to keep telling yourself every single time that you were in traffic that, who gives a shit if I get a green light or not, I'm perfect. And you're just unaffected by, if you're late to work or not, which I'm not telling you guys to always be late, but you get the point. Don't overreact over everything and say that you're a loser just because of your traffic issues. If you were to not give a shit, then that not giving a shit energy is gonna be transmitted. And when they're interacting with you, they're gonna have the thought of, okay, I don't like his shoes. I think he could have done better with his hair. But then they're gonna see another thought that goes, but I really love his smile. And they could have all those negative things to think about you, but they choose to want to smile. Why? Because you chose yourself. And that's the way thought transmission works, my friends. So ladies, gentlemen, if you want to go more in depth on how to manifest, click the link down below, and I would love to work with you.